Hello. Thank you for joining me today on our Oikos live streaming session time. I think this is episode 31, I think. Our last episode we did was 2 weeks ago, and we especially left it for longer than usual because normally we do them once a week and then we change it on the Oikos homepage. But we left our previous one, well, the one that's there at the moment actually, on the homepage because I had an opportunity to chat to Sylvie. And Sylvie has got quite a testimony. So if you happen to be watching this on the homepage and you didn't see Sylvie, well then do you know what you can do? You can go to the videos on the video tab on the Oikos page, and at the very bottom of the menu of the video tabs it says Oikos Live Archive. I think that's what it says. There you will be able to see all previous live streaming episodes. What we're also going to do for you is we're going to do a description on each one of those videos, which we haven't done yet. We are getting to it. And there you'll be able to just read a short description of what actually that particular live stream was about. So that will maybe help you decide whether you would like to watch that specific live stream or not. But I am going to ask you, if you haven't watched the Sylvie episode, a live streaming episode, where Sylvie said Sylvie's a mom of 4 children, home educating, and she shared her testimony on our live streaming last session, episode 30. I'd love you to go and watch that. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I'd love you to watch that because Sylvie's got a testimony to share, and I just think it is incredible. So I would love to encourage you to go and watch that because to me it's an inspiration no matter what our journey is, no matter what our situation or circumstances is. I believe her testimony is going to support others in whatever their circumstances may be. So I'd like to encourage you to watch that. Okay, but for now, before I hop into answering some questions that have come in, I've got a few announcements to make. The one was to let you know about our live streaming episodes being on the website now. Before they were just where we host them, now they're actually on the website. So that's very nice for you that you can just go there and watch any previous live streaming productions that we've done that you might have missed. That's the one announcement. I've got a couple of others, and then I've got some questions that have already come in that I'll be answering. So if you've joined me and you're there and you've got questions, please just start asking them. I'm not ignoring you. I'm going to go back and look at them here on the Facebook page when I'm finished with this these announcements and some of the questions that have come in. And then I'll look up there and I'll see who has asked some questions. But what I am going to do is I'm going to ask you before I go further, I'm going to ask you to ask me questions, please. Because as you can imagine, this is tea time. It is tea time that we are having, and I'm here for you to answer your questions. So if nobody asks me any questions, well, then I don't have any questions to answer. So that would kind of defeat the objective. But it's not defeating the objective of us having tea. At least we've accomplished that because we know that's important. So I've got a lovely cup of tea here. It was steaming just now, and I thought it looked lovely, but now it stopped steaming. And it doesn't look as lovely. But look what does look lovely. Look at these flowers. They're growing right outside our front door. They are so, so pretty. Just look at these little roses. My mother would know what the name of this rose is, so I'm going to have to ask her. But I don't know its name. But I just thought it was too pretty to leave outside the door. So I ran outside and I clipped a couple and put them in this vase to share with you. So I hope you like these roses. And of course, I always have the candle because the candle to me is just important as tea because of the fact that it just represents for me warmth and love and reminds you. I hope, well, I'm going to leave it you to interpret or to have your own interpretation of what the candle means to you. Okay, so we've got our flowers, we've got our candle, we've got our tea. And now I'm going to do the couple of announcements I have to do. The first one is to remind you that Oikos doesn't process orders after the 14th of December. In fact, the 13th of December, that's a Thursday, the 13th of December, is the last day of processing orders. In other words, that's the last day courier comes to the print house to fetch, to Oikos to fetch any orders that are waiting to be delivered. So if you are planning on wanting to have your orders delivered to you before the end of the year, then you need to have your orders in so that we can process them and everything else no later than the last delivery being the 13th of December, which actually means you need to think more along the lines of 10th of December or before being your cutoff time. In fact, try and think of the end of November as when you need to have your order in for the following year. If you happen to miss that, don't panic, because you can, the website stays alive and active, including the chat to us on the website and the help at Oikos family. All that continues to be active, but the only part that isn't is the actual pulling of orders and packing the orders and delivering them to you. So in other words, courier guy doesn't come to us as from the 14th of December until we reopen it's on the website. What does it say? I think it's the 7th of January. I don't want to open calendars and stuff on my laptop here because I don't want to interfere with the live stream. So you will know it's that first Monday in January after New Year and all those holidays. That is when we reopen, and that's when we start having courier come again the following day. He won't come on the 7th, they'll come on the Tuesday. And between when we closed and that day, we're going to be collecting orders. So anybody who's placing orders or needs help then and there on the website, such as you having a difficulty with something technical on the website or even practical, whatever it might be, you'll be able to go to chat to us, which is on the bottom right-hand side corner, the bottom right-hand corner, when you're on the Oikos site, wherever you are on the Oikos site, there's a little chat to us bar, little blue bar at the bottom. If you click on that, and then you'll see, it'll say, hello, how can we help you? And then there'll be a little section there, text bar, field, I don't know what to call it, where you can write in your query, whatever it might be. That way, you're going to get an assistance, the assistance you need then, when you're busy doing that, rather than trying to get us on the phone, which is very problematic because we've got all kinds of practical challenges in that regard with signal and Eskom and weather and location and all kinds of things. We've been trying to resolve this phone instability thing for about 5 years now, so we haven't given up. We will keep trying to resolve it. But while it's not as stable as we'd like it to be, we've put other things in place, such as you can email help@Oikos family, which means if you have any difficulty, you send an email to help@Oikos family with whatever your difficulty is, whatever help you might need, and then we answer that email. Or if you want immediate help while you're having some sort of struggle, if you have a struggle, it doesn't have to be a struggle, it can just be a question, a query, you would then go to chat to us and you would put it in and somebody will be there to answer that. So those are the two ways that we are going to be helping you in the time that we're not delivering orders. But that what I've just told you about is actually there all the time, not only when we closed, it's constantly available. And when I say constantly, I'm meaning work hours, normal business hours. It's not, chat to us isn't active on the weekends, weekend hours. So that's not going to help you. But during normal business working hours, the chat to us will be there and they'll help you. We hope to have a fast turnaround time and being able to answer that email. If you don't get an answer in a decent period of time, you might wait a day and then a second day and then a third day, somebody phones and says, I sent an email and I tried and nobody's answered me. I'm going, oh dear, that's not what we're here for, is to make you wait. We're here to actually help you as fast as we can, as soon as we can. So it could be sometimes we never even receive the email and you sitting there patiently waiting for us to answer. And fortunately, you've been growing in patience in that time, so that's not altogether bad. But we would like to know that you have asked for help and that's what we're here for, is to try and help you. So if we don't even know you've asked, it's a problem. So what I'd like to suggest is if you can't get us on the phone and if you sent an email and you still haven't heard a response, go to the chat to us, because that's the one that we think is the most consistent in its reliability with being able to get you the help you need as fast as possible. So please utilize it and use it. Don't hesitate to use the chat to us. It might be that there's a lot of people using the chat to us, and now we're going to have to review, we're not getting back to you as quickly as we'd like to. And then we might need to review that. But for now, just use Chat to Us and we'll see how it grows and develops and see if it's been as efficient and successful as we would like it to be. That is the objective. So my announcements were that we've got our live streaming on archives on the video tab, that we will be closed from last delivery 13th of December. So please put in if you want in your orders to look at them over the resources that you want to look at them over the festive season and have them ready to start the year, then now's the time to act on that and not wait, because you're not going to get anybody who places an order after, say, the 12th. Well, that's a bit late. Maybe let's say the 10th to play safe. Anytime from then on, you're not going to get that order delivered to you until after we open after the 7th. And then there might be a little bit of a backlog, as you can understand. Because when we get back on the 7th, we'll start from the 13th of December and we'll process those orders and then the next batch and the next batch, next batch. Last year, we arrived on the 7th, we thought, okay, this is too many orders for us to think we can pull and pack and print and do everything. So we took the first batch from, say, the day we closed and the next 5 days, and we did that batch, and then we got those out the door, and then we did the next batch. So if you think about that, you will very quickly realize that if you had placed your order on the 28th of December, you're not going to have it delivered in that first week of January or the second week of January, probably the third and hopefully by the fourth week. So it could be that you have to wait a week or two maybe when in the new year to get your order that you've placed sometime in the period that we were closed. But we're going to do our best to make it not that long, obviously. But I'm just giving you a heads up. Do you know why? Because last year when we came back and we ran out of paper, actually, we shouldn't have, but we did, because there was a paper shortage in the whole country. So that's something we couldn't control. We had it all worked out that that wouldn't happen, and then this unforeseen thing happened. There was a big paper shortage, and so we couldn't continue filling the shelves and printing the books. So I'm just letting you know that these things happen. And I also want to say that in the event that you happen to be one of those people that is waiting and having to wait a week or two, I would like to suggest you use that time very resourcefully and practically and wisely, and not get frustrated with not having the resources that you need to have and you would like to have now, but rather realize, okay, my order's not going to be coming for another week or two, and then try and use that time really in a special way for your children, preparing them for the year, talking to them about what is going to be your overall objective for the year. You know, as I'm saying that, I'm remembering something. I had little notebooks that each one of our children had, and they had to cover their notebook with however they wanted to. And I remember our daughter covered hers in gold, and I asked her, why have you covered yours in a gold, made it all gold and sparkly? And she said, because that's her goal is gold. She wants, it meant a lot to her. I can't remember exactly how she put it, but it was so amazing because I hadn't actually told her, now here's the paper, cover your book. I'd left it to them to create their own cover. Our son, on the other hand, he didn't even cover his book, but on the front page of his book, instead of writing down our objectives, he drew a picture of certain models that he was hoping to finish that year. So I knew straight away that was really important to him, that his model building was accomplished that year. So I'm sharing this with you now as it came to mind, to say to you that if you're waiting, or even whether you're waiting or not, I'm just going to suggest you do it, because it was a very supportive thing to us, in that I had these little notebooks of theirs, and on the front page, and in our son's instance, it was drawings, and our daughter's instance, very, very neatly written, a list of objectives. What we did is we looked at our biggest objective for the year. What is our greatest overall goal? And then we brought it down to, smaller and smaller detail, as in things that we wanted to complete or finish. And they weren't as important as number one, whatever number one happened to be, as the whole family. And you know what? I even broke those goals down into categories, such as we had household goals. So if I had noticed in one of our children a certain area that they needed some equipping in, for example, they didn't mop the floor very well because there was more water and soap than there was cleaning of the floor, and lots of fun and games. That's great, but the floor was more of a mess after they went to mop the floor than when they started. So I knew I had to do some training with the skills required to mop the floor, for example. So then I would actually put that in their little book, and I would put whoever it was relating to, and I would add on their list that we needed to develop that skill. And so that was one of the goals. So now the end of the year is arriving, and we have a look at the book and we see which one of these have we accomplished. And we would have been able to agree that all of them had been accomplished simply because it had been a reference that we kept on going back to, and we knew that that was something we wanted to try and achieve before the end of the year. So now I had no plan on telling you all about that. That wasn't one of the announcements I was going to make, but it just came to mind as I was sharing with you about the fact that you might be waiting in the new year if you aren't able to manage to get your order in before we close and have it delivered to you, because there might be budget restraints or waiting for finances or whatever the reason. There could be all kinds of reasons why it's better for you, or it's going to be more convenient to you, or suits your circumstances to place your orders for your resources sometime after we close. That's okay too. And then you can maybe use the time that you'll be waiting. In fact, I've just thought of something, that if you placed your order, say, on the 15th or 16th or 17th of December, you're going to be waiting from when you've placed it then all the way until the 2nd or 3rd week of January. So you'll have quite a lengthy wait in that regard, which is okay. If you just know that that's how it's going to be, it won't be a problem. But if you're expecting it to arrive 2 days later and it doesn't, well, that's when it can start becoming a problem. Okay, so that's what I wanted to tell you about that, and chat to us and the live stream archives. And now I'm going to go and see who has joined me there today. Mandy. Hello, Mandy. And Sylvie. And Imelda. Hello, ladies. Thank you for joining me. You know that it's always so helpful. And you know who's also there is Mary Kate. I hope it's Mary Kate and not Mary Beth. I think it's Mary Kate and Meredith. Hello, girls. I could go back in my Facebook and make sure that I'm saying Mary Kate, and I'm sure it's Mary Kate and Meredith. You sang that lovely song for us about obedience last time we were live streaming. And a lot of people have watched that, and some people have even told me how precious it was and how much they enjoyed it and how they shared it with other people. So it was very good that you did that. Thank you for singing that lovely little song to us. And thank you for being there now too. And did you notice, you know what I noticed what Mary Kate and Meredith told me when they were here last. They told me that they had noticed my little smiley face there. Not there, there. I'm looking at it over there. My little smiley face over there. It's in every single video that we do. I don't think there's a video that we don't have that. And I was so happy to know that they had noticed it, because they said, oh, there's the smiley face, when they came in here into where we do this filming. So now why was I telling you that? Oh yes, also to say that you'll notice that some of you may know or notice that we put smiley faces in the parcels. We've been doing that for quite a while, but the smiley faces are coming to an end. So I'm hoping that people who are expecting to get smiley faces and then they don't, they're not going to be sad. Because Sylvie, you mentioned to me that you had 3 smiley faces and you needed another smiley face, or you had 2 smiley faces from previous orders and you needed another 2 because you had 4 children, not 2 children, and you wanted a smiley face for each child. So anyway, maybe I can suggest that if you want those extra smiley faces, you can just ask for them, but they're going to run out. And here's Tracy from East London. Hello, Tracy from East London. Thank you for joining us. Oh, and Moraine is also there. My good old faithfuls that joined me on live streaming. I'm so thankful. But now, ladies, thank you for saying hello and thank you for being there. Now, how about a question? Okay, ask me some questions, because that will be nice if I can have some questions to answer. But now, you know what I'm going to do? I've done my announcements. I think I've done them all. Let me check. And then I'm going to answer some of these questions. Okay. This question says, what do I do? My child's No, it doesn't say child, it says children. Now, children's handwriting is terrible. Okay, well, we've got a resource in Oikos for this matter. It's called Italics. It's a handwriting course. And I was speaking to a mom last week on the phone, and she wanted to know if this Italics course was going to help her child with creative writing. I said, no, that's not what Italics is about. Italics is actually training the hand. So if you've got a child that's writing very, very untidily all over the page, then the italic handwriting is almost like writing exercises, and it trains the hand into neat handwriting. That's the purpose of it. So to answer this mom's question, my children have got dreadfully untidy handwriting. You could try the italic handwriting course with them. I'm not going to guarantee anything because I don't know each individual child. I'm not going to say this is going to sort your child's untidy handwriting out, because it might not be the case. You might have one child that it really, really helps incredibly, and another one only so much. So that is how I can answer that. The other thing about children's handwriting being untidy is, what you could maybe do is you could talk to your children about adults that have got very untidy handwriting and how they have to live with that, because it's very hard to change your handwriting as an adult. And that you as a mom would like to help them to have neat handwriting now, so that when they are adults, they don't have to live with the difficulty of having untidy handwriting. So maybe that will help just to get them to also embrace the importance of neat handwriting. Okay, and work on it. The next one is, my child cannot read or spell and she's 11. Oh, that sounds sort of familiar. One of our children didn't read until later. She wasn't an avid reader, and she didn't just read and spell well like one of the other children. One of the other children was just reading and spelling, and I thought, now, how did he learn to spell so well when in fact, I haven't actually taught him to spell. So what happened? How did that happen? You see, it's just completely natural for some, and others it's a difficulty. So now I'm thinking of another story. I was writing to somebody last week, and I had to spell the word colloquialism. I didn't know how to spell that. So I'm going colloquialism and saying it out loud. So Jamie brings me a cup of coffee, and I said, can you help me with this? Now, this is our son, who we home educated, okay? So he spells it for me, and I think, how did he get that? Because it had a couple of extra U's in that I didn't think about. Anyway, it was right, and I think it was right. Well, mine wasn't even spell check, couldn't even find a solution for my creative way of writing colloquialism. And so you see, there I have a completely natural speller, and then I have another child that isn't a completely natural speller, and spelling doesn't just come naturally. So you see, so when it comes to this question about this child who's 11 and can't read or spell, I wouldn't lose heart with that. I would just keep working towards it. This is the reading program, and you're just slowly and systematically working through the lessons to help that child to eventually read. It just is coming later for that child. But I have written a couple of articles, if you can call them that, on this difficulty of parents just feeling concerned about a child that isn't reading as well as they think or would like them to be reading by a particular age. So if this mom who's asked this question and been concerned about her 11-year-old not being able to read or spell well would just like to write to me directly, Sonja at oikosfamily.co.za, Sonja at oikosfamily.co.za, and ask me this question because I have written a lengthy letter in response to a few people on this, just giving you some encouragement and some steps that you can maybe take to just support and help you in that regard. All right. Next question. This mom has written a question to say she's feeling completely overwhelmed. Oh my goodness. That is not nice. It's not really a question. It's more a statement. I'm feeling overwhelmed. Now, you see, I'm not quite sure what she's feeling overwhelmed with, but if I have a mom that comes to me and tells me she's feeling overwhelmed, I would suggest the very first thing she does is eliminate some things from her life that are overwhelming her. Maybe she's feeling overwhelmed because she's got too much on her plate. Maybe she's feeling overwhelmed because she's feeling insecure with something regarding the lessons. And then I can bring some comfort to say, if it's maths you're feeling overwhelmed with, don't. Because you've got Steve Demi to help your children to learn maths. You pop the DVD in, and Steve does the lesson, and he's always enthusiastic about the lesson. And you know what? He doesn't get impatient if you replay 20 times to learn the lesson. He just keeps being enthusiastic about it. So you don't have to be overwhelmed with, I'm not quite sure what this mom's overwhelmed with, but I'm just saying, no need to be overwhelmed with maths, for example. No need to be overwhelmed with any of the resources, because all of them have help available to you for them. So let's say you're feeling overwhelmed with the language. Well, there's a parent manual, and it helps you with all the answers you require to assist your child. Or if you're feeling overwhelmed with Konos, then I think you should watch the Sylvie testimonial of episode 30 live streaming, because she shared with me why she felt overwhelmed with Konos when she first got it and how she's not overwhelmed anymore. And she explains her journey of that in a way that was new to me, because Konos never overwhelmed me personally, because Konos excited me, and it was a manual, like a parent help tool. I didn't have to think of all these ideas. It was just there for me, but I looked at it differently from the very beginning. I didn't look at it as an academic manual whereby I had to teach these lessons or I had to teach this knowledge. I never saw it in that way. But Sylvie shared with us how she did see it in that way, and how she changed that way of seeing it, and now she sees it differently, and how she's not overwhelmed anymore. She was overwhelmed before, and she's not anymore. I think Sylvie is still there. If you are there, Sylvie, let me go have a look. Maybe you can say something about that. And there's Bronwyn. Hello, Bronwyn. And Imelda. Oh, and here's another mom, Imelda, talking also about an 11-year-old that went back. So that's the beauty of home education. You can go back and make sure foundations are solid. Exactly. That's exactly right. You don't have to be concerned about, what is it that I hear? I hear moms saying, I'm so concerned that they're going to fall behind. And then I ask, behind what exactly? Because if you're trying to measure your children against systems of the world, for example, systems of education, whereby at this age they must be achieving this, and at that age, well, in your home educating family, you're going to have some of your children that are way beyond what is considered to be what they're supposed to be. But I don't know who's deciding what they're supposed to be and where they're supposed to be, because think of it this way. If you've got a special needs child, or if you've got a chronically ill child, you don't require of that child to be at a level that is determined by a department of education or a society or an association or whatever it might be. You know as a parent that you don't even require that of your child, because your child's been chronically ill for the last year, or has got some special struggle, like some particular kind of learning struggle. So you wouldn't even consider that they need to be at the level that is determined by others. So I think we should apply that same thinking to all of, whether your children have got some really obvious reason that helps you to think like that, or if it's just you don't have that obvious reason. If that's the case and you don't have any obvious reason, if you can apply that thinking anyway, because you, as a parent, you're not going to learn and be at the same level of understanding in certain areas as, say, your husband or one of your adult siblings, because you're all unique. And your husband might be somebody that really grasps technology really fast and you don't. Or the other way, you're the technological one in the family and your husband isn't. You see, you're at different levels of your understanding with technology. And so it's the same with your children. One is going to really be flying ahead in certain areas and coming along a little slower in other areas. It doesn't matter. You don't need to stress about it. What you need to think about is, when they are adults, are they ready? Are they ready to be good stewards, to have the characteristics, the character development that you need to be focusing on is what is absolutely imperative. That's what I think. I think that the Word of God and teaching them of that and teaching them that this is their life manual. And I'm going to remind you that spending time on molding their characters is what is vital. That's what message we have to you from Oikos. Okay. Let me go to my next question. The next question is, this one question I just spoke about being overwhelmed. The next question is, Mom says she hasn't got any interest. She's lost interest in home education. Oh my goodness. I don't know what the moms who have joined me have got to share about that. I'm thinking of you again, Sylvie, because you shared with me how Konos overwhelmed you, and it was insightful to me. I hadn't thought of it or understood it like that before. And I suppose if you've got such a passion and an interest in something such as we had all our lives with home education, it is hard for me to relate or understand or be able to offer something besides just praying about it. And you know what is coming to me as I think about it in a prayerful manner, and that is, I think God wants us to remain interested, and He's interested in us, and He wants us to continue to be interested in our children. And by home educating them, you are taking that to a broader level. In other words, you are taking care of their education as well as every other aspect. So before, maybe you took them to a building, it was called school, and you educated them, you left their education up to the people that were doing that. And it wasn't particularly an interest of yours to be an educator as in teaching lessons. And maybe that has not been an interest, and so now you've been trying to do that, and you're not particularly interested in the first place. But what I can tell you is God is interested. He's interested in the well-being of your children's education. So you know what I'm thinking now as well? Is I'm thinking of something that I shared at the last Mom's Retreat. I said this is something I shared. I said that let our actions be an act of worship, and let our thoughts be an attitude of prayer. So I'm just wondering if I couldn't encourage that mom who's lost interest to ask her to think about God's thoughts on the matter. So while she's thinking about, I've lost interest, I'm not interested in this, I'm really struggling because I'm not even interested. That must be quite a struggle that she's having. So I'm asking her for her thoughts to, instead of being, I'm not interested, but rather, is He interested? Is God interested? The answer would be yes, He is interested. He's interested in you, and He's interested in your children. So I'm thinking, rather turn your thoughts into an attitude of prayer, into the thoughts of what Christ's thoughts would be in that situation, and then let your actions be an act of worship to that, an act of thanksgiving. Thank you, Lord, for being interested in my children. Thank you for helping me to be interested in their education. I don't know if that's helpful, but okay. Let me have a look here. I have another question that has come in. But let me see if there's any here first. Oh, Mandy, thank you for your input. Mandy saying losing interest may be due to be overwhelmed and giving up. It happened for a little while with me. If this is the case, perhaps lay off any formal work and just do non-schooling things and enjoy life again. Very good point. Thank you, Mandy. Mandy is suggesting what I was suggesting in the beginning, and that maybe this person who's lost interest is also overwhelmed, too much on her plate. Okay, and Morena says if mom lost interest, if a mom or moms lose interest, they should take a break and not do school, then come back and change the way they do it. Ha! Thanks, ladies. You see, you're confirming all of this. Sylvie says take a break, do board games. I agree. Puzzles, bake, go for a hike, do whatever is fun for you, and let the kids come along. Find the blessings. Thank you, ladies, for your input here. You know what I'm thinking as well is maybe we can help this mom who said she's lost interest, maybe help her by suggesting that she finds what she is interested in. Because Sylvie suggested play board games, go for a walk, go for a hike. Moraine is suggesting put aside the learning material and come back to it later. Mandy's saying take a complete break, lay off the formal work. So what I'm going to suggest as well is find what interests the children and find what interests yourself and combine those and do things that are interesting. And then maybe that will feed interest, and maybe interest will rise up and come back, and you will be able to be inspired again and interested again in what you're doing. I really feel for this mom who's saying that she's not interested. It can't be an easy place to be in. Mandy's saying she actually identifies losing. Maybe it happened to me a little while ago. So there are people that identify with that and know how it feels. Okay, I'm going to share a little personal thing on that at the moment. I'm at the moment in a season in my life where I'm doing a lot of things that I'm not interested in, not even the slightest bit interested. And I was just talking to somebody about it today, this morning. It wasn't about interest, it was about another matter, but it was a mom on the phone. And I shared this with her, so now I'm sharing it with you. That is, the way that I'm enduring what I have this least bit of interest in, zero interest in, is the fact that I'm reminded that I'm doing it unto God. I'm reminded that it needs to be done and that He would like it done, and He would like it done in a good way, with a good attitude, with a good heart, with thanksgiving even. So I've got a little saying there. I don't know if you can read it. It might be fuzzy. It says, count your blessings. And I have that there on that little plaque over there because it's one of my mother's statements. Her favorite scripture is in Numbers, count your blessings. And so what I do is in this season that I'm in, that I must endure things that I'm not interested in. I'm interested in home education and raising our children, but now they're adults, you see. So now I'm still interested, obviously, in their lives, but I'm not as involved in their education, for example. So now I'm doing other things that I'm not particularly interested in. So how do I endure? I'll tell you how, and that is with thanksgiving. I say, thank you, Lord, for this task that I must do. And the only way I can do it is do it unto you. I can do it knowing that you need it done, and I can do this for you. So I'm doing it for Him, really. And because I'm doing it for Him, I'm interested, because I'm interested in doing things for Him. I want to be useful to Him. I don't want to not be. So rather than not do it and just feel miserable, I do it without being miserable. I do it with considering my thoughts being that of I'm doing this for Him, and that He wants it done, and He needs it done, and He wants it done with excellence, and so I'll do the very best. And even though I feel that I'm nowhere nearly equipped or able to do this, because I'm so ill-equipped, I can say, please help me, and I can call on Him, and then He's there to help me, and then I'm experiencing Him in it. And so all of a sudden I'm interested in this trial, I'm interested in this difficulty, because it's growing me, and it's helping me to have thanksgiving. It's helping me to have dependency on Him. So I just hope that this mom who has lost interest is feeling more encouraged today and able to just find some interest somewhere, and even if she can't, be interested in the fact that He is interested in her. Okay? Let me see if there's any questions here. Sylvie's saying, I think it's not the interest, it's the joy she lost. Also, comparing yourself to others can rob you of that joy. And she reminds us, your family is unique and you, the mom, are enough. Yes, correct. So now, how does this mom find that joy again? Well, I know that I find joy in knowing that I'm being used by God, and I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. There's nothing impossible for God. And to be part of that is something quite amazing and invigorating and strengthening. So that's where the joy comes. The joy comes in obedience and doing the thing that He's called you to do, even if you don't feel equipped, even if you don't feel capable or anything. The fact that you have to call on Him and you can get through and do it with Him. So yes, that's where the joy comes. And so this, as Sylvie's sharing, that she's maybe lost her joy. And you know what else? It's nearing the end of the year, and I'm hearing moms saying they can't wait for the end of the year. Well, I want to say to those moms, today is the day that you can be joyful, and just today. If you can embrace just today and be thankful and grateful and count your blessings in this particular day. And again, I know Sylvie, and I know I'm going to go back to reminding everybody to watch Sylvie's testimony because she's learned the value of that. Many of us have. For those of you who are still getting there and learning and grasping this, not fully grasped it yet, the value of today and how important just today is. So don't wish it away. Don't look forward to the end of the year. Just look forward to today and everything that today has for you. Because then every day can be like that, and it won't matter whereabouts you're placed in the year. But I do understand that because moms have a full schedule and they reach in the end of the year where things are coming to completion and they're kind of looking forward to an end. It's like, I suppose, somebody who's been running a marathon and the end is near and they're nearly there, but they're exhausted. So I can understand that maybe that's the association, the relation, what they're associating it with, a kind of a marathon. You've run a long marathon this year. But I would just like to leave you with the thought of maybe thinking of each day as a journey, and each day could be a mountain before you, or you could ask God to move the mountain and walk on level paths. And sometimes if you have to climb that mountain and get to the top and see the view from there, and other times you've got to go through the valley, and other times the path is just level and straight, whichever it may be. In all of them, you can do them with Him. Whether it's putting on your hiking boots and going up the mountain, it can be an adventure. Whether it's going through the valley, you can maybe find some treasures down there. And whether it's walking on the straight and narrow and level path, a different kind of journey, and He is with you within and through each one. So every day is a journey with Him, and it can be a exciting one and a joyful one, and you can have strength, and you don't need to feel overwhelmed. And you can be interested in that journey. So let me see if there's any more questions. Oh, this mom says she would like to go away. Maybe that's a good point, actually. Maybe sometimes a bit of distance from the situation, maybe you just see the mountain, and maybe if you went away from the mountain, you saw it from a distance, you go, oh, that mountain doesn't look so big. It doesn't look so overwhelming anymore. And the good news is, there's somebody else that's joined us. I'm going to look at that comment just now. But hello, Mom, Lizelle. Thank you for joining us. Sylvie's reminding us that there is a joy unit in Konos. Thanks, Sylvie. There is. Maybe that's what everybody should end the year on, doing the joy unit from Konos. It's such a wonderful unit. I actually have memories right now of the amount of wonderful things we did from that joy unit that still I have recalled today, and they're in my basket over here. But I'm not taking things out of my basket today, Sylvie, because I've got this Konos basket here. Maybe I should just show them. That Sylvie's asking me to, please, would I share the Konos basket with people? Because she's been here, as you know, because she did a little sharing with me at the last live streaming. She asked me to share the basket with the moms, because in my basket I got the treasures. And you know what else is in my basket is the joy box. Okay, here comes the basket. Okay, big basket. This is my Konos basket. There's my memories in it. I'm going to see if I can find the joy box. The joy box quickly, because we're talking about that. Here we go. Found it. Oh no, that's Missy's inventions. Here's one. Jamie, I found your joy book. Can I show them? Jamie says I can show you his joy book. Look what we did. Do you see, Sylvie? I took something out the Konos basket to show everybody. Look here. It's James's joy book. He wrote his S back to front. Isn't that sweet? Okay, now on that cover, I asked him when he did this picture on his joy book why he did a picture of a mug and some flowers. And you only told me because it makes mommy happy. And look at you, look what we've got here. I mean, he was a little guy when he drew this. And now he's there being our film editor behind the camera. And look what I've got. I've got tea and flowers. And look what's on the cover of his joy book. A mug with a flower on it. I think that's a flower there. Yes. And a vase. And you know what's his first? I shared this in a previous video that Jamie didn't use color a lot. And so this on the first page of his joy book is a picture of a teddy bear because teddy bears made him happy. Okay, now I'm just going to flip through here very quickly. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. You're not going to see too much color because he's a non-color guy who ends up doing videos where he has to learn about color and being a colorist and everything else. See, there's this teddy bear that's not color, okay? And there's this teddy bear that he put color in. Okay, but anyway, the point being that all these little pictures in here are him drawing what brings joy to him. And on the cover, he put what brings joy to his mom. So this book came as a result of doing our joy unit from Konos, where we made these little books. And so now all these years later, I can go back here and I can look through this little book and I can see the things that really brought a lot of joy to our son when he was a little boy. And he can have this book himself. He's still at home, so I don't have to give it to him because he's here. But our daughter, if she wants a joy book, I think she's got it. That's why I didn't find it in the joy basket. These are memories. Let me show you. This basket here is a basket full of memories. So people ask me, how do you record what you've learned and how do you keep a record of your Konos learning and all the rest? Well, the record we have is what you've seen here, what I've shown you. Books. You can see this is just card. Oops, this is just card that we put a binder on after. So, no, I don't think after. I think I gave this to Jamie like this. Was all these cards just bound, and they were just blank pieces of card that he drew on. One of the memories. There's a whole lot of other memories in this basket, and this to us is a reference of our Konos living. It's also digitally. We've got photographs and letters and projects and files. In fact, each child has got their own file that is called Joy, and everything that we did with Joy is in that file. And then they've got another file that's called Stewardship, and all the activities that we did that were physical activities. If it was making something, took a photograph, put in their file. So that's the references they have of their learning. And this is Mom's little treasure memory box of Konos, our Konos years. Okay, somewhat of a distraction there with our Konos basket, but I hope you're happy, Sylvie, because Sylvie's the one that's encouraged me to share the basket. She saw it here. Oh, there was. She says, I love the basket. Good, I'm glad. And here's Lionel. Hello. I hope I say your name right. Okay, let me see. Now, you know what? We can't let this go too long because we've got an uploading. It takes a very long time to upload our videos. You know, it takes like a day for us to upload our videos. And the longer they are, the longer they take to upload. So we try not to let them go past an hour. And I think we're nearly hitting an hour now, aren't we? Okay, so I'm going to talk to the mum about who said she wanted to go away for some time. And I was talking about the mountain and getting perspective from a distance. What I would like to remind you all of is that we do have Mom's retreats. Isn't that exciting? We have Mom's retreats in here in the Kaapkloof. We've got a accommodation for that. It's a little cottage. We only have 6 beds in that little cottage and 2 sleeper couches. So the maximum amount of moms we can have at a time is 8. And you can get hold of us to find out when it is, and we've got all the details. The next one's on the 8th of December, the last one for the year. So if you're needing just to take a weekend away and just to get some distance, and if you want to come to a retreat whereby you can just go sit quietly in the forest or at the lake or wherever you need to be, you can do that. And if you want to be part of the group where everybody's chatting about various things and they all support one another and share ideas, then you can do that. And then I come to the retreat and I just spend the day with the moms sharing one of the days, and the rest of the time they're on their own. So it is quite a nice mixture of spending time alone or with others, or having an opportunity to ask questions and get support and help if you need it. And so that is the moms retreats. If you would like to attend one of them, you are very welcome. There is no charge for them, so that's a nice blessing. So if you want to come to those, you can book. Don't know how to tell you about how to go about the booking at the moment, other than just email us, help@Oikos Family, and we'll take it from there. We are going to be putting a more structured thing in place on the website for that, but I don't think it's quite there yet. Okay, and next year, 2019, we hope to have the dates set for those moms retreats once a month or once every second month, whatever we manage to fit in on the calendar. But I would like you to know that we would like to offer them to you, and we would like to be available for them, for giving you that support. So if you would like to attend those, now you know about them. So for the mom who needed to get away, that's what I'm telling you about. And for anybody else who would like to be able to attend those moms retreats. Okay. So I think for now that was the last question that came in here. I would like to thank all the moms that have been there with me for this last 45 minutes or 50 minutes, or for however long it is. Thank you for being there. I hope you've had a nice cup of tea, and I hope that you'll be with me at the next one. And thank you for my faithfuls who always attend the live streaming. I really appreciate you. And for those new moms, I hope that you come back again and you can join me at another live streaming. And I also hope, I have a lot of hope, I also hope that we'll be able to do more and more live streamings. That is the goal, and we're working towards it. We have many, many technical challenges, but we're getting there. So in the meantime, here we are on Facebook doing live streaming, and we hope to do another one. We hope to do it weekly. That's what we hope for. If you haven't watched the Sylvie live streaming testimony of episode 30, please go watch it. And otherwise, I will see you at next live streaming. And have a wonderful week this next week of November, wherever we are. Whatever week it is, wherever we are on the calendar, have a lot of fun, enjoy your children, be encouraged, and let your actions be an act of worship, and let your thoughts be an attitude of prayer. And thank you for joining me. Bye for now.